The verse of the day is Proverbs 12:16, and it says, "A fool is quick-tempered, but a wise person stays calm when insulted." Today's verse instantly reminded me of Princess Diaries when the limo driver tells Mia, he goes, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." And I heard that and I was like, oh, that is so true. Unless you agree with the way someone else is treating you, you can't take that on. You don't take that on. And today's verse reminds me of how God trains us and refines us and molds our character to get to a place where when people say things to us, or when people are communicating to us as if we are inferior, it's like it bounces off of us. Throughout my walk with God, He's had to teach me many, many times how to not be someone who matches other people's energy. Because I used to say that. I used to be the type of person that would say, yeah, I give what I get. If I'm getting a lot of energy, I'm going to give it back. If I'm not getting any energy, then I'm probably not going to give you any. And I realized how flawed that was. Even going back to what I said a few days ago about being a thermostat or a thermometer. Are you setting the tone, or are you changing temperature based on who you're around? And if you're changing temperature, then you're not very strong in you. You're going to be swaying with the wind and who you're around and depending on the environments you're in, rather than walking into a room one way and staying that way because you know who you are, you know whose you are. And today's verse just reminds me that God teaches us how to be calm no matter what's coming at us, no matter who is trying to bring us down, no matter what lies are being spread, no matter who's misunderstanding us. We're able to stay cool, calm, and collected. Well, at least that's the goal, right? God's trying to teach us how to get to that point of being cool, calm, and collected, so that it really just shows that we don't care about anyone's opinion but God's. And because God has helped mold our character and our confidence and helped us see our true identity, we're able to stand strong when someone says something that's so not our character. It doesn't affect us because we really know who we are. And we know that God's opinion only matters. And if they're misunderstanding you, that's just on them, you know? It's painful though. It doesn't mean that it's not a hard walk, because it can be isolating. It can be painful to be misunderstood, but ultimately it teaches you how to be strong in your own skin no matter who's in the room. Another thing God reminded me of is I used to be the type of person that would sometimes share things out of a wrong motive. Sometimes I was sharing out of needing encouragement, or sharing because I needed affirmation, or I was craving something that I needed in my soul, which ultimately I should be going to God to fill, not people, places, or things. Because when you share with those kind of motives and you don't get the response you want, that's when your entire mood crashes. That's when you start to lash out on certain people and say, how could they think this? How could they not support me? And now it's their fault for not responding the way you wanted them to. So God teaches us how to be constant, to be rooted in us, no matter how anyone responds, to get all of our needs met by Him, so that we share out of just sharing, not because we need you to respond any type of way. So it also lets people be them, and you control you. You focus on you and God, and you let other people be exactly who and how they are. When I was going through the 3 questions, so we always answer the 3 questions, right, during the understand portion. And the first question is, what does this teach me about God? I wrote that He is my lifeline in these moments. So when people are coming at us and insulting us or misunderstanding us, God is your lifeline. So if you're feeling like you want to lash out, or you don't have that patience to just be the bigger person, it's in those moments that you call on God and you shift your focus, like, Lord, help me respond well. Help me to be strong, because I feel weak. I feel like I'm in my flesh right now. So God is that lifeline that you can lean on when these situations happen. And I also wrote that He prepares me for these moments. So as you just do life and you encounter people, and you encounter people who might insult you or say mean things about you, God prepares you for that even in those moments. So while you're experiencing it, however you respond is preparation. And if you don't like the way you responded, you're able to be like, okay, I didn't like that. Lord, help me to assess this behavior and to grow from it. So next time that might happen, you'll be able to be like, wow, I've really grown a lot. Look, I'm not responding the way I used to because I don't necessarily need that approval like I used to, because God is helping you grow in your identity. The next thing I wrote is he uses these moments. It kind of loops into how he prepares you for these moments. He uses them. Even if you respond poorly, you're able to see it as a marker of how you can grow, which is really just everything in our life. Anytime we make a mistake or we fall short, it's just a marker for where and how we can continue to grow. And lastly, I wrote that he is with me in these moments. It kind of ties into the first one about being a lifeline, but you're never alone. You're never alone. And if you keep that at the forefront of your mind, that we are never alone, that Jesus is always with us, then when we're having those hard moments, it doesn't feel as hard because you know you got God right there with you that's going to help you walk through this situation. The second question is, what does this teach me about me? And I wrote that I will be insulted, mistreated, or misunderstood. It's just what happens. We live in a flawed world where many people don't agree with how you live your life. And no matter how you live your life, there will be people that will disagree. In the Bible, it also says that the way Jesus was misunderstood and hated and ridiculed and made fun of is going to happen to us. It's just the way it is, because there's people who don't have eyes to see and ears to hear. So they will, because they don't understand it, they make fun of it. It's just a part of the deal. I also wrote, it doesn't mean that I'm doing anything wrong. It can be evidence of doing something right. So when people misunderstand you, again, it can be evidence that you're in the right direction, that you're doing the right things, because no matter what you do, there will be people who will come against you. You just have to keep your eyes on God, keep your eyes on Jesus, be in tune with discernment and the Holy Spirit, and you'll be good. The next thing I wrote is, I'm able to be calm when I'm insulted. So today's verse taught me that this is possible. You're able to achieve this kind of a heart posture and to respond calmly when it's hard. And I think it's just a process of learning how to do that and learning how to lean on God when you feel weak so that his power can come through and make you strong. I also wrote, I am not my insult. So when people say things, it's like, just because they say it, you don't have to claim it. You know, it's that thing where it's like, have it bounce off of you. That's not me. I know that's not me. And you don't accept it. You don't agree with it, because that saying, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent, is so real. It's agreeing with the way God sees you and making that concrete. And when you're well rooted in him, that becomes more of an easy thing to follow. The third question is, how can I apply this to my life? And I wrote, not letting actions or opinions or words of people shift my peace. So if that does happen, asking God to help me grow in those areas, and like, Lord, help me to be steady and consistent in your peace no matter who's around me and no matter what anyone says about me. Okay?